Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Christ in Every Room, a podcast about the Christian home. I'm Colton.
I'm Erica.
And we thank you for joining us as we continue to have fun together and talk about various aspects of life in the Christian home and our experiences, and just kind of share those with you. I want to be clear. I don't think we said this in the last podcast, but when we talk about this stuff, we're not claiming to be like experts.
No.
We're not
professionals or
right.
anything like that.
Right. We're just two Christians who have children and have a home. And I mean, there is an aspect of this where it needs to make sense that I can speak to it, that we can speak to it, because I am a pastor. And from that standpoint, one of the things Scripture teaches about pastors as far as qualifications is that they manage their home well. And so I should be able to talk about this stuff, but, not trying to claim that we have like some sort of, ultimate authority here.
Or that we have everything figured out, because we don't.
Right. But we have figured a few things out that seem to work for us, and we want to talk about those. So today we're going to talk about parenting and our experiences parenting and some of the things we've implemented, some of the things we've learned from with raising children. And I think it's going to be good. We're going to have fun talking about it anyway. So hopefully it's helpful to you in some way. So
also, as a caveat, though, in this parenting podcast, we are parents of younger children. We don't yet have teens. That will be coming up in just a few short years, which is scary.
Yeah.
So a lot of our experience will be speaking into raising younger children, because that's the phase of life that we're in currently.
Right.
Our oldest is 10 years old, so
yes. So
that will give you kind of an idea of, where we're going when we're talking about these things.
Yeah, for sure. And we have, just to lay our cards on the table, this will tell you some of the things we're going to talk about today up front. Mm-hmm. We have 4 kids, so we have 2 boys and 2 girls, and the age ranges from 3 all the way to 10.
Yeah.
So we've had, I guess if you take Micah, our oldest, as the first, we've had 10 years of
parenting experience
trying to do this thing. And it also is another thing we will touch on as we go down the line. Our son Gideon is on the autism spectrum, and so we'll talk about what our experience has been like with that as well. So as we get into it, the first thing that we have down here is parenting style. But before we get into that, I want to get into that, but I want to speak quickly about, for those out there who may be new parents, the experience of the first time that we brought our son home from the hospital, first kid, and I just want to lay this card on the table so that if you're out there listening to this, you might have experienced the same thing we did, and you're not alone. So I'll ask you, Erica, how did you feel when we left the hospital with that baby? And some of you are already judging us because he was born in a hospital. Okay, so sorry.
I'm not that brave, or
but
whatever you want to say. So
born in a hospital, but how did you feel when we were leaving the hospital with our child?
Terrified. Very terrified, because you have 9 months, so to speak, to prepare for this little human baby that you're bringing home, but 9 months is not near long enough to prepare you for what is to come, because you don't really know what to expect until you bring that life home and you suddenly have someone else to care about and someone else to worry about and someone else to be responsible for other than you and your spouse or
that's right,
your dog.
Yeah, and I definitely felt the weight of it too. Like there's this weight of responsibility that you immediately feel. It's like, oh, life, like it didn't really hit me until we were leaving the hospital that it was like, life is never going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same, yeah.
Right? And if you are walking into that recently or whatever, just know that you're not alone in that feeling. And I think both of us can attest to, even though we felt like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
The Lord was faithful to bring out the paternal instincts in both of us.
Well, maternal for me, because I'm not a paternal.
Yeah. Yes, the parent instincts in both of us, and we figured it out. And luckily, we had a church and godly parents in our lives to help us.
Support
and
system.
that, I know that's not everyone's case, but we had that. But regardless, the Lord was faithful to equip us to do what we need to do. And we made mistakes, for sure.
Yeah, there's so much grace in, I don't even want to say in bringing your first kid, in every kid.
Yeah.
All four, there's so much grace given in that because you're learning a new normal.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the Lord's faithful. You're going to make mistakes and you learn from those mistakes. I think the thing is, most people, and I think this is true of us, the big, like, crazy worries that you have are things that you'll be fine. Like, as far as worrying about your kiddo being safe and stuff like that. If you're even concerned about that, you're going to do okay. You're going to care. And another thing just to point out, I mean, I've been an anxious person most of my life, but not like extremely until
we had kids.
And my anxiety levels went through the roof. I was having horrible dreams about terrible things happening to me and my family. And the anxiety is a real part of it. And I just want to speak to that quickly before we get into this, that if you have that, be sure that you are plugged into a solid church where you have support from people around you who can remind you of gospel truths in the midst of that stuff. Remind you of Jesus' words of, don't be anxious. Seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and God will care for you in all the ways that you are concerned about. So,
and to tackling that, though, I mean, at least for you, in being the person that kind of saw you go through that, is to have like one or two people that act as wise and godly counsel for you. Because I know for you that was super helpful to have those those particular special people that
yes, and that's why God
can just kind of share your heart with. And
that's why the Lord gives us the body where we can seek those things out. And so if you have that in your local church, do it. And press into, like never before, resting in Christ and seeking the kingdom. This is the foundation, as we talked about last week. Even Christ is the bedrock of the marriage. He's also the foundation of parenting. He's where you have, like, if you go into this with a legalistic mentality of like, I have to be perfect and do everything, you're gonna fail and feel like a failure. But if you're doing it resting on Christ, and continuing to walk in his ways and seek him, you're going to find a lot more peace. And so learn from my mistake and don't fall into the trap of thinking that everything has to be perfect all the time or everything's going to fall apart, because it won't be.
Nope.
So now let's get into parenting style. This is the first thing that we have written down here. Erica, do we practice gentle parenting?
I wouldn't exactly say that.
What is gentle parenting?
Like, you never yell at your children. You're never, like, super, strict, and
they're kind of like your bro and your sis, and you're just chill.
I mean, kind of. Like, I understand the surface level of gentle parenting, but when you don't have gentle kids...
but
I don't know. I'm not saying, like, go yell at your kids, but, like...
I guess what I'm asking, though, is because definitionally, gentle parenting, is that the idea of, like, basically you do not assert authority? Is that kind of the idea?
I would assume so.
I mean, it sounds like it. It sounds like...
I feel like we live in a world where, like, feel your feelings is, like, huge. Like, oh, that's big feelings. Let's validate that, or whatever. And it's like, I think that there is a line there when it comes to parenting of, like, yes, you can feel emotional about a situation and be upset about something, but it's not okay to, like, live in that emotion and, like, react poorly because you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know we talk like a lot about that, like with our children, like especially our oldest, him being the oldest child, and we kind of have some higher expectations for him as far as like behavior and stuff, because he's older and he knows better. And so we have a lot of those conversations with him of like, it's okay to be angry in this situation, or it's okay to be upset about this, but let's work on how we're reacting to that, Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's why I think I wrote on our little notes like gentle parenting versus gospel parenting, because everything we do parenting wise is through the lens of the gospel. It has to be, because you're not gonna
and I'll put a caveat in there. The law and the gospel, it's through the lens of both, and that's why I think with gentle parenting, what I think of and what I hear from people is to me what it's, I could be totally wrong. Yeah. But when I hear that, what I think is that you do not assert authority, but just kind of let your kids get away with more things than they should be getting away with. And that's the thing.
And people out there who practice gentle parenting, don't come after us, because
I could be totally wrong in what it is, but I've seen, especially in a modern secular age, so much of parenting is like just you validate everything your kids do, which is insane. Like, you can't validate everything your kids do. You're put over them in authority, and they're going to do things that they shouldn't do. They're going to have feelings that are sinful feelings.
Because, get this, they're sinners.
Right. Right. So, and that's where, you get stuff leading into what's happening nowadays with the whole, parents putting their kids on puberty blockers and insane stuff because they say they feel like the opposite gender of what they are. And that's insane. Like, that's just insane. Your child doesn't determine those things. They're a child put under your care and under your authority. And if we go back to last time, we talked a bit about Jonathan Lehman's book, Authority. But the parents do have the authority of command over their children. We have, the Bible calls it the rod, right? And that doesn't always, it's not like physically spanking them all the time. That's not what it means. It just means that you have the authority to say yes or no, or to correct, So
now, can you correct with gentleness and with, love and tenderness? Yes, absolutely. But that doesn't mean that you validate every single thing that they say or do.
And it also doesn't mean that every correction has to be wimpy or mamby-pamby. I'm not saying screaming at your kids.
Right.
But to raise your voice and assert your authority, and that they know that they are, if you have to point out something that's wrong, your posture, your tone, everything should reflect an authoritative voice of no, you can't do that. And that's okay. That's a good thing. I'm not advocating for just losing your temper or flying off the handle. Authority in a way that is godly, exercised by parents, is it knows when to be gentle. It knows when to assert a more serious tone, and it's not wrong to assert a serious tone and to do that sort of thing. So back to the idea of gospel and law, with your kids. We want the law of God is how we know right from wrong. Right? So it's the law of God that has to be present to say, hey, the reason we don't tell lies is the law of God says that is sin. And we're going to hold you to that, in the sense of, we're going to tell you this is not the way you ought to walk. At the same time, we bring the gospel into the picture when they sin, when they need to be disciplined, when we bring the law of God and show its perfection and tell them, hey, this is sin, it's wrong, you shouldn't be doing it. But to also use those as opportunities for pointing them to Jesus and reminding them that, hey, though you messed up here and you did break God's law, that God has given us an advocate in Jesus who forgives sin. And so, that's something that we try to model. And you have to model it in ways appropriate to their ages, right?
Yeah.
Because our 3-year-old is not going to grasp a ton of that. But what she will grasp is when she does wrong and we have to correct her, that we can hug her, embrace her after correction and say we love you, and tell her that, is in the simplest terms we can, that Jesus forgives us for our wrongdoing. So yeah, any other thoughts on that?
I don't know. I think just to kind of add to what you're saying, and it may take this in a different direction, and that's fine, but also when you're talking to your kids, especially speaking to correcting them and all that, be the example you're trying to show them.
Yes.
I know, you're trying to teach your kids not to tell lies or not to whatever. Then don't tell lies. Don't be a liar yourself. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
be the example for them, as well as
That's the...
pointing them to the gospel in a more tangible...
Yeah. Oh, for sure. You have to model... You're as parents, you're modeling the Christian life for your kids. And that's a Spurgeon quote. Train up a child in the way he should go, and be sure to go that way yourself.
Yeah, seriously. Like, be sure to go that way yourself. I love that so much. Like, I guess an example of that would be like, trying to teach our oldest son how to treat his little sisters because they're little girls, and, not to be too rough with them and all that. Like,
right.
He sees that in how his daddy treats his mom. Like,
right.
And
right.
Be the good, godly, gentle, loving husband to your wife, and maybe your son will.
Well, and you show examples to them. Like, we have boys and girls, and we show examples to them of what biblical manhood and biblical womanhood looks like. And, we're charged with that, and we don't always succeed at it. We're not always perfect, but Lord willing, my son sees in me what it looks like to love a wife correctly and to lead a family correctly. He sees what it looks like to work hard and provide and do all those things. And our girls see in Mama how to love a husband correctly, how to honor a husband correctly, how to care for the home correctly. How all those things, they're watching. And that plays into it as well. So it's not just do this, don't do this, bring the gospel into it when they don't do this. That's good. Just but it's
rule following, or you're talking about legalism and all that. It's
right.
So much more than that.
Yeah, it's law, it's gospel, it's leading by example. And this is a hard one, and it's not popular with some folks, but it is confession of sin. When you mess up as a parent, and you mess up towards your child, to be an example to them, and this is in no way capitulating and saying that you are no longer an authority. Right. It's saying, Daddy needs Jesus too. Mommy needs Jesus too. I'm messed up here, and I'm sorry. I repent. I'm turning away from that and turning towards Jesus because I messed up.
Yeah.
And they need to see that too.
And what an impact that can make on a child when we are, one, admitting to our mistake as a parent to them, and then apologizing to them and asking them to forgive us when we
wrong them,
react wrongly or whatever. Like,
right.
I know it's very humbling.
It is.
As a parent, as an adult.
It is, but if you don't model that, when you mess up, if you don't model that and you present the air of mom and dad
are always
right and always then that's a standard that doesn't point to the gospel. It points only to law. And we need to model for them that we need Christ too, and that we mess up too, and that we're seeking Jesus. And when we mess up, we turn to Him, and we ask them to forgive when we have wronged them, and to point them to the truth, even in that. So, I think that's important. So let's talk about expectations of our kids in the home. Let's talk about that. What do we expect from them as far as their role in our home?
Where do we start?
Let's start with just like basic helping care for the home as a part of our family.
So ideally, they have set chores that they do. This is not a thing that gets done 100% of the time, all the time, because they're kids and they forget, or we forget, or whatever. Like, it's not something that's perfectly done, but ideally they each have their own age appropriate
chores to help care for the home.
Help care for the home.
Yep. And it's a challenge part with that is one of our kids obviously special needs, but there's even little things that he can do that help, and he does them. We have animals that they help care for, so feeding our dogs and helping Mama take care of the chickens and giving them food and water and bringing the eggs into the house, and then of course maintenance things. Our girls have their own little tasks. Gideon has his, Micah has his, our oldest. He has probably more responsibilities as the oldest, but also more, I guess, more, I was going to say, gender appropriate tasks.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds weird, but stuff that involves heavier lifting, like taking out the trash, or moving things, that are heavy.
Right.
We want to instill in him at an early age that he can be strong and do those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So
our special needs boy, his chores look a little different because it's what he can handle. Like, he helps me switch the laundry and start a new load of laundry, or he'll help with the animals, little things that, though he's a boy and technically, I guess, in some sense of the world, don't fall under a quote unquote, gender specific role.
He does, but he does things, he does enjoy things that are more like that. He'll
sit on the mower and mow the yard with you.
Yeah, he will. He'll do that.
It's not really doing much.
But even, and this is more recreational, but the other day, I took my son out to my parents' house, sons, and I was teaching my oldest boy how to use a firearm for the first time. So we're, teaching him how to shoot his little .22 rifle that we got him. It belonged to my great grandfather. Really cool. My dad gave it to me, and teaching my oldest how to shoot. And our special needs boy, I was kind of nervous how it would go, but we brought him out there with us to shoot, and he did great, and he loved it. And we even, with our help, of course, let him fire the .22. So it's not that he can't do more masculine things. It's more a deal of like comprehension and what's expected and that kind of stuff. So let's get in. Let's talk about that a little bit, since we're rolling into that parenting, child with special needs, and what that looks like, because there's a lot of it today. I mean,
there is a lot of it, and I want to say this right off the bat, like, there is zero one size fits all when it comes to parenting a child with autism, or our specific special needs child has autism. I know there are other things with that, but like, there is no two autistic children alike.
Right.
And so when we talk about these things, it might work for our family and it might not work for yours, or vice versa.
Right.
So just know that going in, like, there is no one for all answer for certain things.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, I think, more what I want to talk about with this is how we help our other children understand that, because that's a difficulty, and this may or may not pertain to your family, but it's a reality we've dealt with. So if it helps, to help your other children understand that, because it's gonna look like to them sometimes that it's not fair, that this child gets treated differently because of his neurodivergence, and having to really instill in that God's providence and say, the Lord saw fit to give us Gideon in our family who has special needs, And those needs are something as a family we all have to work together to understand and work through. Mm-hmm. And that's been the challenge of just explaining that whenever he struggles, like when he's doing it, he loves to repeat actions, and that can get annoying to our other little kids that are like, why is he copying me, or why is he doing the same thing over and over again? And to me, it's an opportunity to, again, minister the gospel to them and talk to them about the Lord's patience with us and how all, people are oftentimes just missing it, and we're not getting it, and the Lord is patient with us, and so we are patient with our children, all of them, according to their need, right?
Yep.
Any other thoughts on that?
No, that was really good.
Okay. All right. So I don't know as far as any other advice we could give, because what Erica said is true. It's not the same. Our son, though he's on the autism spectrum, he's not in a place where he has to have assistance with everything.
Right. He falls more in the level 2 category, if you are familiar with the levels. He is high functioning. He has,
to some extent, he is.
He is high functioning to an extent.
He's still not potty trained, and he's how old?
He's 8, almost 9.
And that's a struggle. Like
he can do it. It's a matter of,
we're still fighting that
he
battle.
has to decide he wants to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the trick with him, is he's just
right. So there's going to be different needs for each family based on that kind of stuff. And the biggest key, I think, from a biblical perspective, from a Christ in every room sort of perspective, is to think about the Lord's patience with us, and to try and teach that even to your other children.
It's one of those things, and I just want to kind of throw this in here because I think that it's important, especially in parenting our kids. Like, there's the whole saying, never pray for patience, because the Lord will give you opportunities to be patient. And I'm like, I find myself constantly praying for it, because I am not, in my nature, at all patient.
Right.
And if you know me, like, my husband knows me pretty dang well, and he knows I'm not patient with the kids. And so I do actively pray for that, because, Lord help us.
I wouldn't say that blanket that you're not patient with the kids. You probably feel that way.
Yeah, I do feel that
way. But you have times where you struggle. And that's the same, praying for patience. Everyone says the Lord will give you opportunities to be patient. He gave those to us without praying for patience.
Yeah, he did. When he gave us our first child.
We pray for his help with that. So let's talk about the last thing, because we're well past the 30-minute mark here. Screen time.
Ooh.
So screen time, TV, social media, cell phones. With kids, what do we do? How do we handle screen time?
We handle it with care. No.
We try our best.
I feel like this has been a interesting conversation in our home, especially here lately. I feel like screens are terrible.
But you still use them.
I have my phone, but I'm very choosy on how I use it and what I do on it.
She kind of dropped off all social media except Instagram recently.
Yeah. Instagram is the only thing that I personally do, because I feel like it is the mildest version of social media.
Yeah.
You have X, which is completely unhinged. Free speech and all. Yay, America, but it's not for me.
America's not for you?
No, X is not for me. I love America. God bless it, but no.
No,
I can't X. I don't.
She tried, guys. I tried.
Sorry for those, 10 people who followed me that I have no idea who you are, but you were sweet to me because you know my husband, but I can't X. It stresses me out.
That's okay. Oh, yeah.
And Facebook is a complete just life drainer.
Yeah.
Makes me feel exhausted and
so this is more about screen time for us, and we try to regulate that better. Let's talk about screen time for our kids. First off, let's just say, before we get to the screens they can have, will our kids ever have smartphones while they're under our roof?
Absolutely not.
No.
Sorry, that might, harsh a lot of your mellows or whatever you want to say, but we're the parents of our kids and you're not. So
we've decided that that's just not going to happen while they're under our roofs.
Our 10-year-old has asked us 50 billion times if he can have a phone, and the answer is always no. When you're 18 and you can pay your own cell phone bill, you do you. But if you are living in this house, you will not have a smartphone.
Yeah, and that's not to say that we wouldn't get the dumb phone situation for just like calls and texts.
Yeah. Well, once he starts driving, or once any of our kids starts driving, that will be a discussion of,
Right.
I think having a cell phone at that point in life is important.
Yeah.
But it will not be a smartphone.
And I think there's so many reasons for that, of why that we probably, that we won't do that. I know we won't do that. And, aside from the dangers of corn, which is a thing.
I hate that it's called that because I love corn.
Yeah, like actual corn. Yes. Yeah. Not the other thing. That's always a concern. But not just that, but the social media for teens, I think is just... I read a book about this earlier this year, and it's just proved to be awful for kids, especially developing brains. And I've even seen it on...
Well, not only that, but you've got, 10-year-olds walking around in the world who are super anxious or depressed or...
Right. Because of they've gotten hooked on the dopamine hit of social media, and their value and worth comes from it. And we have decided that we will not have that for our kiddos. I've seen it even on X. Like on X, I've seen the brain rot that takes place from younger people on X. It's something I don't want my kids involved in.
I don't personally think most adults should have it.
Discord, all this kind of stuff. And I have a Discord. I like it, but when you have
what that is.
Yeah, it's a chat app thing. But anyway, all this, it's just for our kiddos. We are very cautious about that, and we don't want to implement that. Now, the screen time that they do have,
it's very limited.
It's limited, but it's there. And our oldest son we have a Nintendo Switch that he likes to play, which is cool. And I like video games. He likes them. I got him hooked on some of my favorites. So he loves the Legend of Zelda games and stuff like that. More recently, with the TV, we do let our kids watch their own kind of things, and it's limited in time. But most of the time, we've started trying to do, if we're gonna have the TV on, we're gonna watch a family movie that we all can watch together. And of course, then that gives us the opportunity to curate it and make sure it's whatever.
But when they are watching their own things, it's very parental controlled. It's very as age appropriate as we can get it for each child. Gideon is the only one that I think we again, it's a special needs thing that we are a little more lax because. But
let's be real. Gideon's screen time is watching the grinder machine that eats all the stuff.
Shred stuff.
Or watching Hot Wheel cars,
or marbles down a huge marble run.
It's more of a
dominoes falling down.
I think a stimming exercise for him more than anything.
It's more of a tool than it is anything else for him, because it's a calm for him if he is very overstimulated or he's having a bad day. It's a very calming.
Yep. So, we try to be careful with screens. But I think that's the last topic that we'll cover today. We'll probably talk some more about this kind of stuff. We're just going long, and I don't want this to be an hour long. So, we have a couple of resource recommendations. Again, I'm going to recommend the book Authority any chance I get, because I do think it is good and helpful in understanding, authority structures and the parental authority that's there. So I recommend that. And this is more not just for parenting, but for just mom and dad to read separately, would be Disciplines of a Godly Man and Disciplines of a Godly Woman by R. Kent Hughes, and is her name Barbara? Barbara Hughes, his wife. They each wrote those.
Excellent resources. Yeah,
they're good. We've been very slowly, but we've read William Gouge. He's an older Puritan. His books on the home and family life. There's 3 of them. It was originally 1 volume, but there's 3 of those, and they're very good as well. And then, of course, for just parenting, Joel Beake's book, I think it's Parenting by God's Promises or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's
really good. Especially if you're a Paedo-Baptist, you'll love it.
I know what that is.
Baptized babies.
Oh, we don't do that.
We don't do that, but I still thought it was a good book, and the principles of it are good. So I recommend that, and especially if you do, if you're in the Paedo-Baptist tradition, you'll love it all the way through. But it was good, and then we did both also enjoy Paul David Tripp's book on parenting. Thought it was good. Whatever you think of Paul David Tripp, he can be hit or miss with some stuff, but I thought that book was really, really good. So there's just a few recommendations for you. And then, of course, the Bible.
Always the Bible.
Read the Bible. One thing we didn't talk about, because we're saving it for Family Life episode we have, is family worship. But that is something we do, and we love it.
So stay tuned.
Yeah, so we'll have more stuff to come. But I think that's going to do it for now. Thank you, guys.
That's a wrap.
We'll see you later.